Woo! All right, everyone. I hope I am coming through just fine. Oh, what's up, Hobby Hero? Um, let me make sure that my audio isn't totally borked. I'm a little late this evening because I always like to restart my computer. Good, I don't sound terrible. All right, let me move my light here. Ooh. It's a little bright, but it's on my face. What's up, Zaku? What's up, Jesse? First, I just want to say, you know, I am your host, of course, Midnight Hatter. This is Fridays with Midnight Hatter, whatever I will eventually call my Friday live streams. Thank you guys for tuning in to a special episode where we are going to be going over some Mobile Suit Gundam role-playing game updates. The rumors of my death were greatly exaggerated. I just had a terrible cold, and so I didn't record a video on these updates. So I figured, fuck it, we'll do it live. But first, I just want to say, hey, thank you guys so much for 2,000 subscribers on YouTube. I didn't ever think that I'd be that this little passion project would attract so much attention. So, thank you guys so much for your support. I really appreciate the interest and keeping this project alive that I started, 2.5, 3 years ago now. So anyway, I am also repping my Porter Robinson hoodie to celebrate the release of his 7-year in the making album Nurture, which is awesome. Uh, yes, Pyro, I am indeed a ghost, which is why I don't have any audio issues tonight. So, without further ado, I think we should just go ahead and hop into these exciting changes. Again, I hope you guys have had a great week. We're going to kick off the weekend. Yeah, I might only cover these updates for a little while, and then, who knows? We'll get into something fun, make it just a just chatting stream or something, a little fun Q&A, something like that. All right. So let's pop on over to, you guys let me know, do you prefer this layout where you can kind of clearly see the entire screen and the chats on the side? Or do you prefer full screen where you can see everything a little bit more clearer and I'm kind of tucked away in the corner? Well, Coo, what are you doing, bud? Apparently the mailman has terrified my dogs. Oh, well, you're gonna have to ask Pyro about your variable upgrade. Um, so here's what we are going to do. The first thing you might notice, and I think some people have already kind of caught on to this, is the new community content tab, which is going to cover some of the stuff that people have been submitting. For a long time, I had been hesitant to create this tab, if only because I wanted it to work a very specific way. I originally wanted people to be able to submit community content through a web form, and it would automatically post to the website and automatically be formatted the way I like it. I'm a little OCD about these things, and I don't want, one of those forum style websites where you just have like random images plopped everywhere and like people are using different fonts and different headings for different things. uh it would just look messy and I hate it. So this, I think, is going to be the best way to cover this in the meantime until I can get that to work. I am still working on a way for people to save and host their character sheets on the website. People will be able to just log into an account on the website and they'll have, a certain number of character sheets that they can access. Like I said, one of my goals for this website has always been to basically be the D&D Beyond of Gundam RPGs. providing you with all the resources to, do everything within browser. Would you guys chill out? What are you doing? What are you doing, Cinderella? um, yeah, I mean, using mods would be ideal, but like, nobody's getting paid for this, and so I can't demand that kind of time from people. So basically, just as submitted, I'm going to upload things to this new tab of the site, especially if they're well tested. Ideally, we're looking for stuff that is either ready for testing or has been tested a little bit, and maybe we're just trying to work out some of the kinks. So this page should look familiar. This is where we've got the human variant rules that were submitted before, my own starting Gila rules if you wanted to go by those, Terran's destructible shield rules, and the latest addition is the aquatic combat rules from G1 Scorponok, which you'll find that he's created actually most of the content that's being that's being displayed here this evening. So it covers the 4 different levels of depth that mobile suits can assume while they're underwater, and the effects on weaponry and evasion while at those depths. And then, of course, there are optional rules for amphibious suits and some particular MS that will not be affected by those underwater rules. So I'm sure that that is something that folks are pretty excited about. As well, I've created a tab where we've got some user-submitted mobile suits. As I said before, G1 Scorponok, shout out to you there, bud, for creating a slurry of mobile suits this week. From the Gantlet, as he called it, to the Deluge of the Gelgoog. We've got a ton of new mobile suits. These ones are probably yes, he can crush them. It's scary. Someone will post something like the Psycho Haro and be like, "Hey, stat block when?" and he's like, "Got it. Done." I'm glad you mentioned the F91 stuff. We'll get into that a little bit later because the F91 stuff is a little tricky, but we'll talk about it. So yeah, we've got most of the mobile suits in here are pretty wild. Some of them are a little unbalanced, but that's why they're here, is so that people can test them, determine whether or not they are too absurd, and then go from there. When you look at a mobile suit that's got 13 evasion, which is the highest of any mobile suit in the entire game, you're gonna start to see some game breaking combos developed. As well, this was inspired by the Gundam Thunderbolt second season, Bandit Flower. Scorponok submitted the weapon packages, which are quick change weapons mounted on the arm of an Akai in the case of the anime, but you can mount them on whatever mobile suit you'd like. I actually need to add a property to these weapons because, and this is going to get into the big Armory update that I've done. So obviously, these are the only 3 weapons we've had submitted so far. But if we hop into the weapons tab, this is where the bulk of the updates have been made. So, in addition to several new weapons being added, there are several new properties available on said weapons. For instance, some of you might have noticed the area effect, which creates a splash damage effect for certain weapons, especially explosive weapons. When we start getting into acid rounds and corrosive weapons, those are going to fit into the area of effect weapons as well. We've also created what used to be called the magazine property is now just called reload. And I'm going to explain this a little bit more when we get into the new weapons formats because all of the weapons have been completely redone. Sorry if you're in the middle of a game and you have to recombine your weapons. Another one of the new features added is the incom property. Incoms are quasi-Psychomu or incom weapons, wire-guided weapons that ignore line of sight rules. This does not overcome stealth or invisibility, but if you have units that are behind cover, you can ignore line of sight for those attacks. Things like the Hamma Hamma, the Totus Ritter, the Gundam Mark V, the S Gundam and EXS Gundam, they're gonna feature those types of weapons, and those weapons are gonna be added to the weapon list as well. Ooh, let's see what we got here. Yes, Exia's Blade Gun is a great example of one of those quick change weapons. Mounting upgrade and oof. All right, next property that I've added is the Evasion Property. So certain weapons, such as the Gatling Shield, the Twin Beam Rifle, the Thunderbolt version, and some weapons that can parry other weapons are going to grant an evasion bonus. Now, this evasion bonus cannot be stacked with standard or shoulder-mounted shields. It's considered a shield in and of itself, but it allows units to be a little bit more flexible with their loadout spend, and it allows you to create that custom goof from 8th MS team. Finally, we have the quick change property. So this was actually part of a misunderstanding on my part. Is I always thought that it was just a bonus action to change weapons, from turn to turn. I didn't realize that I had actually written it out as it's a standard action to change, from your ranged weapon to your melee weapon, or to change from a beam rifle to a machine gun. So the quick change property, which will be available on things like the Gatling Shield, things like the wrist-mounted Gatling guns, they are going to allow you to use a bonus action to switch between those two types of weapons as long as one of them has the quick change property. So that will allow a goof custom that has a Gatling Shield and a heat sword to run little combos. So, a big goof indeed. Additionally, we have added new damage types. We had the existing ones: ballistic, slashing, heat, energy. Now we've added electric. Electric used to be folded into energy, but there are going to be more weapons that create stun damage and things like that. Things like the heat rod are going to be electric instead of beam energy. So that's going to warrant a different damage type. Additionally, we've added corrosive damage, which again is going to be created by acid or other corrosive materials. And we've also added force damage, which is dealt by sonic or pressurized weapons. So that's something exciting, and probably inspired by the fact that I was playing Inside the other night with my wife, and there's that whole section of the game where you're getting blasted off the side of a catwalk by just air. I'm glad you mentioned suggesting or changing cold to cryogenic. I am against that, if only because I am using it for both cryo weapons and environment damage. So and same goes for heat damage, right? So heat is going to come from heated metal and flamethrowers, as well as environmental hazards. And I even saw somebody on Discord the other day mentioned, why isn't the heat sword considered heat damage, and why isn't the cold katana considered cold damage? Well, I challenge you to look in D&D 5e and find me a weapon that is available to a level 1 fighter that is non-magical, that deals any other damage than bludgeoning, slashing, or piercing, and I guarantee you're not going to be able to. So the reason I don't include those types of damage types on base weaponry is because base weaponry is supposed to be like your standard longsword, your standard dagger, your standard bow and arrow, that kind of thing. You can obviously enhance it and add what would be considered enchantments to those weapons to give them the additional damage types. But considering that resistance to those core damage types, ballistic, slashing, bludgeoning, piercing, and energy, are some of the main mobile suit features, I'm not gonna make it easier for people to overcome damage resistances just because of a naming or lore reason. I hope that that makes sense. It's for the game's sake as opposed to being lore accurate. Gotta really look into the game I haven't even played yet. All right. That might actually come in handy, having a support unit like that. All right. So now the biggest change to the weapons, which some of you probably have noticed, is that I got rid of the confusing ammo to magazine count. We're not doing any of that anymore. Basically, the ammo listed on your weapons, your ranged weapons, is going to be how many shots you have before you either A, have to recharge the weapon, or B, have to reload the weapon. Now, the reason that magazine doesn't make sense anymore is because you have things like shotguns and missile launchers and rocket launchers that can be reloaded that don't use magazines. So that's where that comes in, is you can carry additional ammunition for those, but they're not going to be called magazines. Anyway, you'll notice that the number of shots that you can take before you have to reload has been reduced greatly. This is not to reflect the exact number of rounds in said gun. Obviously, like the 90 millimeter machine gun listed on the Wikipedia says it can hold like 32 rounds per magazine. The reason I've reduced it down to 16 is, flavor wise, you're thinking to yourself that each of those machine gun fires, it's going to be a burst shot. You're not just firing off one round, you're kind of spraying 4 or 5 rounds, and so it's going to make everything a little bit more balanced, because people that have high capacity weapons are going to have to reload not as often, but much more often than they could before. Yes, indeed. Let's see here. Oh, sorry, I'm like on a roll here. The other thing that I have done is I have significantly nerfed the ranges on all of the ranged weapons. I've made them very similar to the hand crossbow, the small crossbow, and the large crossbow from D&D 5e, at least in terms of how many squares it would cover. So in D&D 5e, every square on the grid represents 5 feet. In Gundam 5e, every square on the grid represents 10 decameters. So I've done a little bit of that math and converted it over so that it's like, okay, every 8 squares or 80 decameters is the range of your average machine gun, beam rifle, short, mid-range weapons. Short-range weapons include like things like the shotgun, the beam spray gun, and then when you get into sniper rifles and stuff, that's when you're getting into 10 to 30 square ranges of fire, and so it's going to go from 100 to 300 decameters of range. Let's see. For weapons like missiles that can't reload, take what you can. Maybe make a checkbox for each missiles. That's definitely definitely possible. Yeah, see, that's exactly what I was thinking there, Pyro. And a lot of people just kind of throw out the whole second sheet of the character sheet since it's all just new type nonsense. And most people are playing infiltrators because they're just as broken as rogues. All right. So hopefully I have covered everything in the updated weapons section. Oh yeah, so I added the heat lance, for instance, which that's the Doug Schneider-Freet custom weapon. Let's see, we've also got our twin beam rifle and our Gatling shield. So those are the 3 new weapons that have been added to the main weapon list. And again, they have that evasion bonus and they have the quick change feature. So now we're going to get into what I think everyone is probably excited about, which are the new official mobile suits that, again, were created by G1 Scorponok. So all credit goes to him for these new mobile suits. Now the 1 Year War has way more stuff for you to choose from. Starting from the top, we've got the Saber Fish, which is, going to be a slightly more resilient fighter than the core fighter. Let's see. New type nonsense. That's me. Oh yeah. Well, I appreciate you saying that, but my voice is probably sounding a little nasally right now because I'm still coming down off that cold. But I suppose there's always one way to test and to see if my role playing voice is ready. Colonel, I'm trying to sneak around, but I'm dummy thick, and the clap of my ass cheeks is alerting the guards. Let's see. Hey, what's up, Zevi? Thanks for joining. Yes, Pyro, I will add some balls. Let's see. After ideas, maybe record a video testing them in gameplay. Not a bad idea. I am going to start running a new Gundam 5e campaign here soon. I just need to pick a day of the week that works for the party that will be running it. Yeah, Pyro, I could have done a lot better if I wasn't, like, all stuffed up. So, on this list, there's not a huge amount of changes made to the Federation list of the 1-year war, but we do have the new GM Sniper Custom, which a lot of you are going to say, why is it so much beefier than the GM Sniper 2? Well, it's a GM Sniper Custom. It's an elite custom unit. It's not just a mass-produced piece of junk. Maybe I will be adding the White Dingo GM Sniper 2, and that one will be more akin to the GM Sniper Custom, but, GM Sniper 2. Oh, man. I need an artist for a lot of things, which we'll probably get into that for the second half of the stream. Just you wait, because I have probably some surprises to drop this evening. Let's see, what else did we add here? Scorponok, if you're in the chat, just feel free to ping me with the things that you added. The GP00, the Gundam Blossom. This, I'll be honest, the version that Scorponok sent me, I nerfed it a little bit, but I loved the effect that this Gundam has, the feature, so much that I figured it had to be in there because it's such a unique option. So this unit can roll a contested perception check on enemy stealth units, and for every stealth that it beats with its perception check, it and all of its allies have advantage on attacks against those units. And that's whether they're trying to stealth or not. That's just their ability to avoid the radome on its shoulder and detecting all of the nearby enemy mobile suits. Look at that. We got so many artists in the chat. It's just a creative bunch that we've got over here. Now, these ones I'm going to take credit for. Scorponok had mentioned that he couldn't find artwork for the Dendrobium stamen. Well, I found it, sir. And so I created the RX-78 GP03 Dendrobium stamen, which has folding subarms, which gives it a pretty steep advantage as it can change weapons as a bonus action instead of a standard action, as well as reload. And then I used to have the Zephyranthes package deal as the... Oh, hey! Thanks for the sub! Oh, you've got more than music and programming. I know that for a fact. Hopefully you enjoyed the little animation from the sub there. Thank you so much. So yeah, I used to have the Zephyranthes and the full burner version paired together as one unit. I've split them apart so that they are, distinct, as one has the ground combat configuration, which, makes it less effective in space, and the full burner version is much more effective in space and less effective on land. All right. Moving on, we're going to cover what is probably the most expanded mobile suit list that Scorponok has worked on, which is the Xeon list. So, nothing in the lower end, but we have some new Zakus available, including the Zaku Canon, which is similar to the GM Cannon. It's basically an upgraded version of the Zaku, but with a shoulder mounted cannon. The Desert type, which again is straight copied from the GM Type C, which has resistance to heat damage. Then we have the High Mobility Zaku, which is a elite custom version of the Zaku 2. So for those of you who find the stats of the Zaku 2 are a little too low to work with, obviously you can see that the cost difference jumps dramatically. It's actually double the financial cost, and then of course you also have to be proficient in elite custom mobile suits in order to use it. It also has, this is another one that I kind of nerfed a little bit, sorry Scorp, but when it's the target of an attack, it can use its reaction to impose disadvantage on a single attack being made against it. So that is a cool little effect there. We've also added the Zaku Kai for all you Bernie Wiseman fans. What else? There have been some changes to the Ifrits. I noticed that all of the Ifrits were mass production units, which didn't make a lot of sense considering that only one of them was actually a mass production unit. The Ifrit Noct, the Ifrit Custom, and the Ifrit Schneid are all pretty customized units. They're actually all each customized to a specific pilot. So they have been upgraded as such. And the Ifrit Schneid introduces a new mechanic, which is the melee/thrown weapon of the Heat Kunai. So that's actually going to be a sweet little feature to test out. Moving on to the next page. Yeah, go variants. That's the name of this update is Armory and Variants. All right. So, next Zaku variant is the Act Zaku, which isn't anything spectacular apart from being just, a high stat value mass production unit, which we probably didn't have enough for those for Xeon. The variant armory. The variant armory. Say that 3 times fast. So now we've got the deluge of Gelgoogs. Wow, can't even say that. The deluge of Gelgoogs, including the Gogoog Cannon, which actually is a step down from the regular Gelgoog, which has a tier 1 feature. It has super high stats, and it's supposed to outperform the Gundam, so of course it has higher stats than the Gundam. But yeah, the Gogoog Cannon is more of a grunt unit, but it has that shoulder-mounted cannon. It's basically an improved version of the Zaku Cannon. Eat a burger whenever your character uses a ration. Pour out a burger for Bernie. How about that? We also have the Gogoog Marine, which again is it's a slightly tweaked version of the Gogoog. It's not, I would say that it's not better or worse. It's just different. It is geared towards underwater combat, and it has slightly nerfed stats, but it has that high amphibious speed. So, it's something different. Again, that's the whole goal behind this, is just offering more variety, more things to choose from. One of the reasons that I didn't do so many variants was because, when you start getting into the nitty gritty of like, oh, well, this Zaku 2 was a late production model, and so it has, 0.5 decameter thicker armor. It's just like, come on, chill out. So I am eternally grateful to Scorponok for coming up with some unique features for these. One of them you might have saw on the GM Sniper is the most dangerous game, which again turns reloading into a bonus action instead of a standard action, and that's available on. Oh, I didn't even rename this properly. It's supposed to be the Gogoog Jaeger, but for some reason it just says 14A Gelgoog. So I do need to edit that. We've also got the Gian Eos, which was the only reason that that's the only Gan that made it to the core list, is because that's the only one that I had an image of. The Gian Krieger and a couple of the other Gian variants that are available in the community content section, I would like to add to this side, but I don't have the proper art to drop for them. Additionally, and I can't believe I forgot this, but I didn't add the Zoc to the initial rule set. Yeah, see, only make a variant if they have a major difference. That makes the most sense, right? So like an idiot, I what's art cost 3 bananas? I mean, good art. um so yeah, like an idiot, I forgot to add the Zoc to the initial rule set. This guy's kind of a beefy customer. It's got a high armor value, a pretty low evasion rate, but the mega particle cannons that he's got actually deal 8d6 plus 1d6 times your proficiency bonus of energy damage. So on a level 1 party, this guy's going to torch people. Unfortunately, he can only move 20 decameters per turn on land. Amphibious speed's a little bit faster, but he's a slow boy and he's big, and so he is a massive target. So he is a tanky boy. It'll be interesting to see how people utilize the Zoc in actual gameplay. And you can probably see that the Zogok and Juagu have been added as well. And I think that is, yep, that's everything that was added to the Xeon side. So, moving on. Nothing was added to the Aug. Nothing was added to the Titans. But we do have some stuff for Axis. 8 guys on a base jabber. Let's see, the kid. No, the Zoc looks like what's Ralphie's brother's name in A Christmas Story, where he's got like the poofy jacket on and he's like all bundled up. All right. So only a few new units available for Axis, but they are important units, such as the Capul, which this is another one that I'm really excited about. Again, big shout out to Scorponok for creating it, because it is the first variable mobile suit that we have that transforms into an aquatic high-speed transport. So like the Zeta Gundam transforms into the Wave Rider, so of course it has midair and space speed improvements. The Lodo transforms into a tank, so it has, greater speed on land. This actually transforms into whatever the heck the Capul transforms into. If you've seen it, it's just like a ball pod thing with its arms tucked behind it and like shooting like jet sprays out behind it to propel it forward. Mom's, it's my turn on the Xbox. So yeah, this is going to be the only variable mobile suit right now that increases your amphibious speed. And it also is the first mobile suit to have a feature that allows it to deal force damage, that new damage type. It was initially called Thunder, but I changed it over to Force because it made a little bit more sense considering that it's coming from a sonic boom attack. So, that's this new guy. Additionally, we've got some of the quirkier Axis units. If we scroll down, oh yes, here we go. The Arjarja, which is a pretty beastly unit for double Zeta standards. The variable shields is kind of a tweak on like the shield ability that like a wizard would have, that just kind of gives you an evasion boost as a reaction. So that's going to be a fun one for people to play as, I think. The Hamma, which again is going to have that wired attack, which has the incom feature, ignores cover. So again, just creating a little bit more flexibility. And then finally the Gaymulk, which now this is a pretty beastly unit. High armor value, high loadout score, and it has a +1 to hit and damage rolls with all weapons that deal energy type damage. So not a bad unit to pick up. It does have the limitation of having 2 advanced tags, which means it's going to be very hard to get proficiency, well, 100% proficiency in that unit. All right. Finally, I think that the only other thing that we've added are a few more Neo-Zeon and Sleeves units, which again are probably just going to be duplicates of what we had before. Things like the Zogok, the Juagu, and the Kapul. Oh, and of course the Ifrit Schneid has been added down here as well, with slightly boosted stats on account of the fact that it is no longer Doug Schneid piloting the Ifrit Schneid, but Fred Reber. So, I think that covers all of the new updates to the site, to the weapons, and to the mobile suits. Yeah, I think that that's everything. So, oh, of course, I'm an idiot. Forgot about this. I announced it on Discord, but I did create 3 new versions of the character sheet. So we've got a blank version for those of you that just want to print it out, write on it. This will be the easiest one to do that with. We've removed the mobile suit, like, equipment screen thing. You can just draw a mobile suit on here. Or if you are piloting something else, like a Saber Fish or an Augo, you can draw that on here, or just copy and paste an image, place it in there. I've replaced the loadout checkboxes with a loadout. It's really just like an itemized list so that you can write the loadout scores and write down the max loadout score of your mobile suit, just so that you can track it a little bit better, a little bit more easily. We've also got a form fillable version that does not have auto calculations, so you don't have to worry about everything saying -5. So that's I'm actually impressed that you were able to get any kills in GBO2 with a ball. So, yeah, that is the form fillable character sheet, and then we also have the form fillable but with auto calculations version. So, let me see here. I think this is the right one. So I added some conditional values to it so that, oh, maybe, okay, so this is the blank version. This is the one with auto calculations, which is why it has the zeros there. So now it has zeros instead of saying -5, because if the value is less than 0, it will just automatically default to 0. So for instance, when you start putting in your character's values, you're going to see that the modifiers are automatically calculated, the skills are automatically calculated, your attack bonuses are automatically calculated. It's really just, I mean, I think it's cool, but it's because I don't like to do math on the fly. You can even put in, let's say you're using a Zaku and you have a base armor of 8. You put that in and it's supposed to auto-calculate your total armor. Oh, that's right. Got to put in your level. So I'm a level 1 character. Boom. Total armor is -1 for my -1 engineering, plus the 8 for the base mobile suit armor, and so we get 7. Now, if I were to level up to, say, level 5, watch this. Automatically calculates that 8 times 5 plus the engineering modifier times 5, and so that's how you get 35. I think it's pretty cool, like I said. Additionally, let's say that your loadout score is 8, right? So you go down to this loadout screen, and you've got your total remaining loadout there. So then I'm going to go ahead and equip a machine gun, and we put in, let's say it's 2 loadout. It'll tell you how much remaining loadout you have, which again, I think is going to be super helpful for especially new players. It's going to allow people to, focus more on creating their character and having fun with it, rather than being like, do I have enough loadout for a shield? What can I add? Let's add heavy shield and see if it works. Can I add a heavy shield for 3 loadout? Yes, of course. Cool. Sweet. So hopefully this new revised auto-calculating character sheet, again, I think it's fantastic, and I hope that you guys get some great use out of it. Sorry, I've been ignoring the chat here. The ball superior. See, and Requiem, I think that you could probably write these formula a lot better than I could. I actually had to like look up how to do it. This is all stuff that's like pretty base level JavaScript, which I didn't even know that that PDFs could use. I didn't even know that PDFs could use JavaScript. So, you learn something every day. All right, that covers all of the updates to Gundam 5e and the Gundam 5e website. So I appreciate you guys sticking around for that super long spiel. Like I said, I'm probably just going to hang out here, answer any questions you guys have. If you've got any, maybe hang out for a bit. And yeah, you know what? I'm gonna do something a little fun here. So let's pop it back up to full screen me. And I'm going to open up a new window here that will have some, like I said, I've got some exciting things in the works, not to do with Gundam 5e, but to do with some other things. So I want to show them off, see what you guys think. The C2 Gundam. Oh man. Oh, that does remind me. So Scorponok did create all the F91, the Crossbone Vanguard mobile suits. He created all of the F91 battleships, which was really impressive. The only thing I'm missing for all of those things is the artwork for them. So, well, to be more accurate, is I do have artwork for them, but they need to be clipped, color corrected, all that stuff. So I didn't have time to finish it all this week, but in the coming weeks, I will be working on the F91 stuff. All right, so let's skip that. I'm glad you asked about that. Hey, good night, Pyro. You have a good one. So, yeah, I'm glad you asked about that. I am not going to, well, I guess I can show off some of the turn-based Gundam stuff. I can show off some of the turn-based Gundam stuff if you guys want, but there's another little template here that I've downloaded for Unity that I think is going to be a lot of fun to play with. So let's see if we can get it started here. First, I need to change the settings here. Yeah, there's so much stuff. So now I'm starting to see why I was having audio troubles, because I definitely have way more software running on this machine than I need to. Oh, definitely, Zevi. Definitely going to be streaming some more sessions here. One of the big issues that I was having was I didn't want to stream with people that were uncomfortable streaming, so having a dedicated group of players is going to make that a lot more, is going to make that a lot easier for me to stream a campaign, especially a long running one where I can have like an actual story. Whereas the way I was doing it before, I could only really do one shots since I had kind of a new batch of players every week, and so it didn't lend itself very well to a long form type of game. All right, so let's swap over to this. So here we are in Unity. And this is a template that I downloaded that I was kind of excited about. That well, let's just hop into it, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Is my audio still going? Sweet, sweet. Maybe I should add the audio from the. Actually, you know what? I am not going to add the audio from this because the the game template has very awkwardly balanced game audio. So it's like you open the menu and it's just like a slight doo-doo, and then you like actually click on something in the menu and it like so I don't want to mess with that. I don't want to cause you guys any ear damage if you're using headphones. So let's hop into this. I stumbled upon this RPG Creator Kit on the Unity Asset Store that was actually pretty impressive. As you can see, it's using the standard Unity Chan character asset. All of the assets in here are kind of like, either pirated or free assets that are available on the asset store. But tell me if you guys can kind of tell what this game is modeled after once we start getting into... Oh, come on. There we go. Get up that hill. Once we start getting into some of the finer gameplay aspects of this game, and some of you might have seen this before, I was streaming it on Discord the other day. There you go. Yes, you guys are correct. Not only does it look like Breath of the Wild, but it indeed has the gameplay of Breath of the Wild. So, we go into our menu and look at that. It definitely looks like Breath of the Wild. You've got your different categories of equipable items in your inventory screen. I wish that I'd given myself a key. And then, you've got your Z targeting, which honestly, the Z targeting was the thing that was most appealing to me because that was something that I was having a difficult time programming for myself. I had followed several tutorials on how to do it, but yeah, none of them seemed to work ideally. Ooh, I forgot to tag the water as water so she doesn't realize that she's swimming right now. um So yeah, this is, like I said, it's a very exciting, no way I know where this is going. I'd play Breath of the Wild simulator. Dude, okay. So, I'll show you something a little bit more in depth because obviously this gameplay demo didn't have any of the exciting stuff in it. So let's hop into one of the dungeons. And we'll just go ahead and play for a second. Hopefully my computer doesn't die. All right. There you go. You get your EXP for discovering a new location. There are a few glitches with this template, which the developer has acknowledged that it's not perfect, and that's fine. Honestly, I don't mind doing a little bit of I don't know if you could hear that, but they definitely used the sound effects from Breath of the Wild, which I'm sure is a blatant copyright violation. Um, so yeah, I mean, we've got quest items here, we've got chests. Again, if you could hear that sound effect, you would recognize that it was stolen from from other AAA video games that are very popular among the kids. We've got free climbing, one of the cool things you can do in this game. Exactly. There are actual dungeons. Um oh yeah. Here you go. Got some free climbing with your climb jumping. You've even got puzzles, you know? So you've got like, your little pressure plates here, and you can well, you're supposed to be able to pick up these jars. There we go. Again, like I said, there's just some things about this that are a little glitchy, which I'm gonna have to troubleshoot, but I don't mind doing that. Now the exciting part about it, let's pause and hop out. Let's see what we can do here. I'm also a big fan because the creator of this template decided to use humanoid mechanism animations, which probably means nothing to most of you, but in Unity speak, it makes it a lot easier to map animations to humanoid characters, which we are going to do right now. Is I am actually going to remap this entire character to one of my own. So if we hop into assets, characters, I don't know, who do we want to use? Well, that guy's a little too bulky. I want the. Here we go. Perfect. So what we're going to do is we're going to drop this character model into the controller. I think that he is a humanoid rig. If not, yes, he is a humanoid rig. So, oh, I know that that looks absolutely hideous right now, but we are going to fix it. The first things first, we actually have to open up our character that's already there and take a few things out of her character build and place them into this other character in order for everything to work. So we're going to open up the left shoulder, left arm, left forearm, left hand, and then we're going to find that default handle in the left hand, and we need to open up the same things for our cyber soldier here. So hips, spine, chest, left shoulder, upper arm, lower arm, hand. And you'll find that like every humanoid character typically has these same armature locations built into them. So it's nice that this template is built this way because you can quickly remap everything about the existing character model to a new one, which is exactly what we're going to do here. And basically, I'm kind of taking Breath of the Wild gameplay with a few of my own tweaks, such as teleportation powers and a different leveling up system, and I am going to combine them with my sci-fi setting to create the ultimate sci-fi RPG of my dreams. I'm actually combining a few of the things that I had already been using in the RPG that I had been building, but again, one of the things that I was trying to get working was Z targeting, which again, I did not. That was a mystery that I was not able to solve on my own. What I probably will do is take my AI code and put it in this game, because the AI in this game, well, look, I'm not gonna lie, it's actually really good. It's probably better than mine, to be honest. But I like the patrol states that my AI has. A ball with legs. I need to get back into Unity. Haven't touched it. Oh, I know, man. Like, look, we have dark mode. that wasn't available when you and I were when you and I were coding together. So we've got our handle relocated there. Now the other thing that I'm probably gonna have to do is relocate the actual handle here, because as you can see, Unity Chan's hands are a little higher than my Cyber Soldier. That was not right. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Let's do the same thing with the left hand, because I did not do that. So with the left hand, we need to drop it down a bit, and then we need to rotate the x-axis around. All right, that is almost everything. We do need to pull the right shoulder to holster unequipped, carry object target, and drop both hands target. All need to be placed into the spine as well. In this case, it's going to be the chest of the Cyber Soldier. We're going to move him up a little bit because he's a little taller than Unity Chan as well. Yeah, exactly. I'm glad that they added dark mode to the free version because it's saving my eyes. And even then, I'm still wearing my blue blockers here. All right, that is almost everything. We do need to add. We go to the mesh root and pull a couple of things out of the. Well, we don't need those. I'm okay with dropping them, honestly. We will need the bow handle, so that's going to go into the top level of the Cyber Soldier. And then I think we're good to just delete Unity Chan. And then we need to use the Cyber Soldier's avatar here for animation purposes. And the Cyber Soldier here is a free asset on the asset store, so I'm not even using my own characters just yet. This is just to show off what we can do with this unique system. And let's hop in and see if I did everything correctly. And there we go. Now, the one thing that's going to be a little weird is the fact that the audio is still, a little girl's voice. But again, this is that advantage of the humanoid animations. Oh. See, and here we are running into one of those glitches again. Let's see if I can. So I'm not exactly sure. Oh, I know what I did wrong. There's actually one variable that I forgot to copy out of Miss Unity Chan. We need to go into her head. And it's interesting that it broke the way it did because, and you're about to see why. So if we go to neck and head, there is the water drip and water bubble effects that we need to copy into the head of our new character. And they only become active when you're in the water, which explains why the game broke as soon as we jumped in the water. It's not just because he's a Cyber Soldier. All right, drop that out, and then we'll hop back into it. His butt waggles, yeah. Whoa. Oh, forgot to change the avatar over. So he was T-posing. My friend left his hunter's voice in Rise of the Girl. It's funny. And there we go. Yeah, he's got a little tushy waggle. And now he can swim because you see, like, he actually, well, wait, he can't swim. He can't swim. What did I do? Oh man, I broke it. It was working before when I used one of my other characters, my other character models. So maybe I have to figure out what I did wrong. Suffice it to say, uh, apart from those little glitches that come about, usually of my own doing, this is actually a really solid Unity asset. So I highly recommend it. It is not free, unfortunately, so that sucks. But yeah, exactly. Robots and water, they don't mix. All right. So apart from that, I don't think I have anything else exciting to share. I would hop on a video game or something, but I don't have any games on this computer, and my capture card isn't all set up the way I like to before I hop onto a game. So I might just end the stream here, and I'll probably go back and make some edits to the video to cut out this last bit, because I know most people are just tuning in for the Gundam 5e updates, so I want to make sure that video is available for people who want to view it. Let's see. Was there anything else that you guys wanted to chat about before I hop off and wish you guys a great weekend? Because it's yeah, it's getting to be about that time. I'll go ahead and close out of Unity here. I definitely could use some artists' help. But my big thing, and I've probably mentioned this before, uh, is that I have a hard time setting priorities. So I definitely need the thing I need the most help with is determining what order to do things in, and like what to ask for. So it's like I know I need help. I know I need artwork for both Gundam 5e and for my other projects, because despite the fact that I've got like a pen tablet and all this stuff, I'm actually not that great of an artist. So all help is welcome, but I just don't know what to ask for at the moment. Um, yeah, I need a project manager. I need someone to tell me to stop going off in these little rabbit holes of different projects that I like to get my hands dirty with. So yeah, hopefully you guys are enjoying all of the new updates to Gundam 5e. I can't wait to playtest some of the new mobile suits, the new classes. I know that Taryn and Kira are hard at work revising their engineer class. Um, yeah, so we've got a lot of big things in the work, and once we get like a workable version of the game, I will create a new PDF of the rulebook, because I know that there are a lot of people that ask about that. Aside from that, yeah, nothing too exciting. But I appreciate you guys all. Um, yeah, character art for the classes would be a good example of something we could use for sure. And you're right, art does take a while. Well, good art takes a while. It's the classic design triangle, right? It's like good, fast, and cheap. You can only pick two. So Coop. Coop, what's wrong, buddy? Yeah, stop going down a rabbit hole of projects. That's what I need to do, is focus on one thing. So anyway, I appreciate you guys. No, you didn't get all three. You got terrible work, and it took me forever to do it. Um, in fact, I want to go back and redo that intro video for you. So yeah, don't let me forget about that. I actually have some ideas that I'd like to throw your way. So uh, text me and we'll touch base about that. I think we're due to like hang out soon, I hope. Um, so art for each class as well. Yeah. And I have some ideas on that. I actually might have something to use as a placeholder until we get to, you know, the commissioned art. Uh oh yeah. No, I admire your focus, Zevi. Better I was quoting you. Um well, sweet. Hey, I appreciate you guys all hanging out and having a good time in the chat here. Requiem, you did not have to subscribe to the to me on Twitch. I appreciate that. You are incredibly generous, and I am incredibly grateful. But I'm just gonna buy you something or send you an Amazon gift card because you don't need to do that for me. But yeah, I hope, like I said, I hope you guys are excited about these new changes to Gundam 5e. I hope you guys are excited about some of these other projects that I'm working on as well. I'm gonna be making these games free to play on my website once they are at a state where I've got like a minimum viable product. Because eventually that is something that I'd like to release officially. I'd like to release an official video game RPG. Is like, hey, that's the dream, right? Um, but I would not have been able to do all of this without all of the support from you. So I appreciate that, and I hope that you guys have enjoyed hanging out with me this Friday evening, despite the fact that I sound all nasally and congested. It's my free Prime one. There you go. Yeah, see, I use that one every month as well. Well, again, I wish you all a great evening, and I hope you all have a great weekend. I will hopefully release, whether it's a Gunpla video or some more RPG updates. I'll be releasing something in the week, and if not, I will catch you all next Friday. Thanks again. I appreciate you all for 2,000 subscribers on YouTube. You guys are the best, and I will catch you all later. Thanks again.